Cicada. Cicada is one of the Flash's most intriguing villains, with a dark backstory and a dangerous obsession. Born in 1890, David Hirsch was an architect and preacher, but his temper often got the best of him. Tragically, his violent outbursts led him to kill his wife, Elizabeth. Overcome with regret, he planned to end his life, but fate had a different idea. A lightning strike saved him and gave him the power to absorb life energy, extending his life for decades. Let's have a quick view of its origin. This life-changing event made David believe he was connected to the Flash, who gained speed from lightning. Convinced that he was destined to resurrect his wife, David became Cicada, a cult leader with a chilling goal: to kill everyone the Flash had ever saved. His followers used lightning-shaped daggers to carry out these murders. Then, Cicada even teamed up with Magenta, one of the Flash's old flames, to capture Wally West. Revealing his twisted vision, Cicada drained the energy of the Flash's saved lives to bring Elizabeth back. But when she returned, she reminded him of his crime. He had killed her. Furious, Cicada absorbed her life force again, undoing his plan. Eventually, the Flash and his allies stopped Cicada, but not without consequences. One detective, slashed by Cicada's dagger, gained rapid healing powers. Despite being imprisoned in Iron Heights, Cicada escaped during Gorilla Grodd's breakout and joined a team of villains led by Alexander Luthor Jr. Gorilla Grodd is more than just a villain. He's a chilling reminder of how intelligence and power, when mixed with cruelty, can create a foe unlike any other. Have patience. We'll unpack the full story of Grodd's terrifying abilities in just a bit, so stick around. In the Arrowverse, Cicada was reimagined for The Flash Season 5, but his portrayal fell short. While his niece and Eobard Thawne overshadowed him, his backstory in the comics remains one of the most chilling tales in the Flash's rogue gallery. With immortality, a cult, and a mission driven by grief, Cicada remains unforgettable. Savitar. Next up, Savitar is one of the most dangerous villains in The Flash, but his story is as tragic as it is chilling. Known as the self-proclaimed God of Speed, Savitar was a broken version of Barry Allen, a time remnant created during a desperate attempt to defeat Zoom. While Barry's main timeline moves on, this remnant is left scarred and rejected by Team Flash, making him feel like an outcast. Overwhelmed by pain and anger, he transformed himself into Savitar, a godlike figure, and vowed to make Barry suffer. Speaking of its history, trapped in the Speed Force for years, Savitar's anger only grew. He escaped with the help of the Philosopher's Stone, an artifact of immense power, and began a dark plan: to destroy Barry's life by killing Iris West. Along the way, he manipulated others, including Julian Albert, who unknowingly became his pawn as Dr. Alchemy. No doubt, Savitar was a powerful enemy. Faster than any other speedster, he possessed extraordinary abilities like teleportation, superhuman reflexes, and the power to heal rapidly. His iconic armor, created using the Philosopher's Stone, gave him even more strength and protection, helping him absorb energy, survive extreme cold, and shield himself from static charges. He could even control the armor remotely. However, Savitar's most significant weakness was himself. His need for validation and his hatred for Barry drove his actions, but they also revealed his deep insecurities. He blamed Barry for everything wrong in his life, but was ultimately undone by a paradox. When Team Flash prevented Iris's death, the timeline shifted, erasing Savitar's existence. Savitar's story blends power, pain, and revenge, making him one of Barry's most haunting foes. It is a tragic reflection of what Barry could become under the weight of loss and rejection. Godspeed. One of the Flash's most dangerous foes, Godspeed, had been causing trouble in Central City long before making his full debut in Season 7 of The Flash. Known for his striking white suit and his hunger for speed, Godspeed's story is as complex as it is thrilling. Let's dive into how August Hart, the man behind the mask, became such a formidable villain. August Hart was once Barry Allen's friend and colleague, but after gaining Speed Force powers from a lightning strike, everything changed. Grieving his brother's murder, August adopted the name Godspeed and became a vigilante with a dark twist. He drained speeders of their abilities to make himself stronger, acting as judge, jury, and executioner. Beyond this, Godspeed's thirst for power didn't stop there. He somehow created an army of silent Godspeed drones that terrorized Central City repeatedly. These drones were imposters, capable of moving at lightning speed, but making strange modem-like sounds instead of talking. When a fifth drone showed up in 2020, it finally spoke, demanding the Flash's speed and even killing other drones for their power. It hinted at a mysterious master, none other than August himself. After that, the chaos peaked in the Godspeed War, a conflict involving two warring factions of drones, one loyal to Godspeed and the other rebelling against him. This battle spilled into the past, forcing Team Flash to intervene. Eventually, August was found suffering from amnesia, but through a mental journey into his memories, Barry discovered the dark sanctum of Godspeed within August's mind. With the ability to absorb others' speed and an unrelenting ambition for ultimate power, Godspeed stands out as one of the Flash's most significant challenges. His cunning and raw speed make him a villain no speedster or viewer will ever forget. The Thinker. Clifford DeVoe, better known as the Thinker, shook up the Flash in Season 4 as the show's first main villain who wasn't a speedster. DeVoe, a former college professor with a brilliant mind, believed humanity had lost its way due to over-reliance on emotions and technology. With his wife Marlize, he created the thinking cap to amplify his intelligence. But his excessive use of it came at a cost. He developed ALS, a severe neurological disease that forced him to speed up his plans. DeVoe had one goal, to reduce the intellect of everyone on Earth so he could guide humanity as its teacher. To achieve this, he engineered an explosion that created 12 new metahumans in Central City, each with unique powers. As his body deteriorated, DeVoe used his advanced intellect and technology to transfer his consciousness into these metahumans, one by one, stealing their abilities. Team Flash and even his wife Marlize stood in his way despite his growing power. At his peak, DeVoe operated from a hover chair enhanced with cybernetics and plotted to use satellites to spread his mind control plan across the globe. However, his obsession with his goal makes him cold and distant, even toward Marlize. This ultimately led to his downfall. In the showdown, Barry projected himself into DeVoe's mind and helped Ralph Dibny, the elongated man, regain control of his body, stripping DeVoe of his physical form. Marlize delivered the final blow by turning off his chair, ending his reign of terror. Though DeVoe was defeated, his actions left a lasting impact, shaping future threats like Cicada. His genius and chilling ambition make him one of the Flash's most unforgettable villains. Really? Wait a minute. We'll reconsider this thing when we discuss Reverse Flash. He is the Flash's greatest enemy. He's not just fast, but the Flash's worst enemy in every sense. Stay tuned as we reveal this shortly. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, like and subscribe to the channel to show your support. Zoom. Hunter Zolomon, known as Zoom, terrorized Central City and nearly destroyed the multiverse in The Flash Season 2. A serial killer from Earth 2, Hunter gained super speed after a particle accelerator explosion and decided to use his newfound power for chaos. He had a twisted plan, take over the multiverse. But first, he needed to break Barry Allen both physically and mentally. At first, Zoom pretended to be Jay Garrick, a heroic speedster mentoring Barry and Team Flash. This clever disguise built trust, only for him to shatter it later by brutally revealing his true identity. In one shocking moment, he killed Barry's father and challenged him to a high-stakes race that would decide the multiverse's fate. Now, let's talk power. Zoom's powers were terrifying. A drug called Velocity enhanced his super speed, making him faster than Barry. His signature blue lightning wasn't just for show, it marked him as a force to be reckoned with. Zoom could catch bullets midair, throw lightning back at Barry, and even phase through walls. His dark persona was amplified by his chilling black eyes and monstrous voice, making every encounter with him genuinely frightening. But Zoom wasn't just fast, he was ruthless. He once beat Barry senselessly, dragging him through the city as a warning to everyone. After absorbing Barry's Speed Force energy, Zoom became even more substantial, capable of creating breaches between dimensions and traveling through time. His ability to create time remnants and his transformation into the terrifying Black Flash made him a nightmare for Team Flash. Even though Barry ultimately defeated him with the help of his friends, Zoom's reign of terror left scars. His dark origin and relentless drive to prove his superiority made him one of the Flash's most haunting villains. Reverse Flash. Eobard Thawne, or Reverse Flash, is the Flash's ultimate nemesis. Once an admirer of Barry Allen, Eobard's obsession spiraled into madness, turning him into Barry's worst nightmare. From the start, he's been a relentless thorn in the Flash's side, refusing to let Barry or his loved ones live in peace. Whether by killing Barry's mother, creating chaotic timelines, or teaming up with dangerous villains, Thawne's sole mission is to prove he's faster, and to ruin Barry's life. So, what makes him so dangerous? For starters, Thawne is powered by the negative Speed Force, the dark counterpart to Barry's Speed Force. This grants him incredible speed, agility, reflexes, and stamina. He can run up walls, move through objects, and even travel through time. His connection to the negative Speed Force keeps him alive despite changes to the timeline, making him nearly impossible to erase. But that's not all. Thawne is freakishly durable, recovers quickly from injuries, and can create shockwaves, lightning constructs, and even time duplicates of himself. He's also a genius strategist, always several steps ahead of his enemies. With his enhanced mind, he literally processes information at lightning speed and fights with precision, striking where it hurts the most. In later battles, Thawne's powers grew even more terrifying. He became the avatar of the negative forces, giving him control over time, immense strength, telekinesis, and the ability to manipulate reality. These powers only fueled his destructive ambition, making him a nightmare for the Flash and anyone who dared to stand in his way. Simply put, Reverse Flash isn't just fast, he's unstoppable, unpredictable, and the Flash's worst enemy in every sense. King Shark. Shay Lambden, better known as King Shark, is one of the most physically intimidating villains in the Flash series. Imagine a man fused with a great white shark, standing tall with massive strength and razor-sharp instincts. Hailing from Earth 2, Shay became King Shark after a particle accelerator explosion altered his body. Zoom sent him to take down the Flash, but after failing, ARGUS captured him. Shay's story is far more complex than a straightforward villain versus hero narrative. Despite his fearsome shark-like appearance, King Shark is driven by a mix of human emotions and animalistic instincts. After being given a metahuman cure by Team Flash, Shay briefly reverted to human form and showed deep regret for the chaos he caused. But when the team needed his help to fight Grodd, Shay made the ultimate sacrifice, choosing to transform back into King Shark to protect his friends, even though it meant losing his humanity forever. Physically, King Shark is a powerhouse. He has superhuman strength, tearing through walls and overpowering even Barry at full speed. His durability is off the charts. Bullets bounce off him, and he can survive powerful lightning strikes. He's even more dangerous in the water, swimming faster than most speedsters can run. Shay also has shark-like senses, using bioelectricity to track his prey over long distances. His healing factor makes it challenging for him to injure, and he recovers quickly from most attacks. However, even King Shark has weaknesses. He's highly vulnerable to electricity, especially in water, and extreme cold can knock him out. Shay also needs to stay hydrated to survive on land for long. Though terrifying in battle, King Shark's story is surprisingly heartfelt, proving he's more than just a giant shark. He's a layered and unforgettable character. Gorilla Grodd. Gorilla Grodd is one of the most dangerous and fascinating villains in The Flash. Once an ordinary silverback gorilla, he was experimented on at STAR Labs, which gave him incredible telepathic powers and a genius-level mind. But those experiments also unleashed his darker side, making him a relentless enemy to the Flash and humanity. Speaking of his powers, Grodd isn't just brilliant, he's terrifyingly strong. As a superpowered gorilla, he can hold his own against the Flash's super speed thanks to his unmatched strength and durability. But what truly sets Grodd apart is his telepathic abilities. He can control people's minds, force them to obey his every command, and even transfer his consciousness to others. These powers make it nearly impossible for him to defeat in a straight fight. And if that wasn't enough, he can also unleash psionic blasts, manipulate matter, and even use telekinesis. Despite his intelligence, Grodd is driven by pure rage and a thirst for power. He dreams of conquering the world, enslaving humanity, and creating an empire where he reigns supreme. Grodd's hatred for humans runs so deep that he sees them as inferior creatures to be wiped out. He's also brutal to his kind, willing to kill fellow apes if they stand in his way. Not only this, Grodd's personality is as fierce as his abilities. He's cunning, violent, and completely merciless, with no patience for insults, especially if someone calls him a monkey. And believe it or not, he despises bananas. Gorilla Grodd is more than just a villain. He's a chilling reminder of how intelligence and power, when mixed with cruelty, can create a foe unlike any other. In every encounter with the Flash, Grodd proves he's one of the most unforgettable villains in the DC universe. Anti-Monitor. The Anti-Monitor is one of the most dangerous villains in the DC universe, and his story is terrifying and awe-inspiring. Imagine a being so powerful that he can destroy entire universes. Yes, universes, not just planets. That's precisely what the Anti-Monitor does. His ultimate goal? Wipe out the multiverse and replace it with his antimatter universe, where he would rule supreme. Known as Mobius, the Anti-Monitor is the evil counterpart of the Monitor, a cosmic being who stands for balance and protection. But the Anti-Monitor thrives on chaos and destruction. He's not just strong, he's impossibly intelligent, manipulative, and completely ruthless. He even tricked Nash Wells into freeing him, knowing it would lead to devastation. This villain is terrifying in every sense. His sheer presence sends chills down spines, and his knowledge of ancient cosmic secrets makes him even more intimidating. The destruction he caused left countless lives wiped out, showing his complete lack of mercy or remorse. He sees himself as a god, far above anyone or anything in the multiverse. Defeating the Anti-Monitor wasn't easy. It took the combined effort of the Paragons and the sacrifice of Oliver Queen, Green Arrow, to stop him. Even then, it was no simple fight. The Anti-Monitor grew to a massive size for a showdown, but the heroes had one last trick. With a shrinking weapon created by Ray Palmer, Nash Wells, and Ryan Choi, they trapped him in a perpetual shrinking state, preventing him from ever causing harm again. Though he's gone, for now, the Anti-Monitor's legacy of destruction lingers. His power and cruelty make him one of the most unforgettable threats the multiverse has ever faced. Who knows if this cosmic force of evil might one day return? But this time in the form of Red Death. Yes, you heard that right. One of Red Death's most terrifying abilities is her control over electrokinesis. She can unleash intense red lightning from her body, using it to strike down anyone who stands in her way. We'll discuss this in just a moment, but before we do, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, The Speed Force. The Speed Force is the mystical energy that gives Barry Allen and other speedsters their incredible powers, but sometimes, even your most significant ally can become your most dangerous enemy. In The Flash, the Speed Force took on the form of Barry's mother, Nora Allen, to interact with him and his team. However, when it felt betrayed, it became a threat, turning against Team Flash in its quest to eliminate the other forces. What made the Speed Force such a terrifying foe was its ultimate power. It literally controls the energy that gives Barry his speed. Facing it was like battling the source of his abilities. It wasn't just strong, but ancient, wise, and nearly invincible. Luckily, the Speed Force realized its mistakes and reconciled with Barry. Still, its immense power reminds us that it's a force of nature, not something that can truly be defeated. On the flip side, there's the negative Speed Force, its dark counterpart. Unlike the Speed Force, which thrives on balance and connection, the negative Speed Force feeds on hate, fear, and jealousy. Created by Eobard Thawne, aka the Reverse Flash, it made him one of Barry's deadliest enemies. But it didn't end there. After Thawne's demise, the negative Speed Force resurrected his ancestor, Eddie Thawne, and turned him into its new avatar, Cobalt Blue. The negative Speed Force is manipulative and relentless, constantly pushing for chaos and destruction. It waged war against Barry and the Speed Force, using Eddie as its weapon. By tempting Eddie with promises of power and revenge, it came dangerously close to erasing the Speed Force and reshaping the universe in its image. Ultimately, the Speed Force and the negative Speed Force represent two eternal opposites, locked in a never-ending battle, and Barry stands right in the middle. Deathstorm. Deathstorm, also known as the Black Flame, is one of the most chilling villains in The Flash, making his appearance in Season 8. He's a dark and powerful entity, born from the tragic death of Ronnie Raymond, a character with close ties to Firestorm. But instead of staying dead, something sinister took form. Deathstorm was created from Ronnie's death and became a creature of pure, cold fusion flames, seeking power by feeding on the grief of others. His ultimate goal was to gain a physical form and become all-powerful. Along the way, he became a killer, even ending the life of Killer Frost. Above all, Deathstorm's personality is as fiery as his powers. He's sadistic, manipulative, and hungry for control. He doesn't just hurt people, he enjoys tormenting them, taking pleasure from their pain. This makes him all the more terrifying as he uses others for his gain without a second thought. When it comes to abilities, Deathstorm is a powerhouse. He's an extra-dimensional entity, meaning he's from another plane of existence, giving him abilities beyond ordinary comprehension. One of his most terrifying powers is cryopyrokinesis, where he controls cold fusion fire. Basically, flames that burn cold. He can change his form, even turning into a skeletal figure surrounded by eerie blue flames. This makes him impossible for a turtle, as he's invulnerable to most attacks. He can also read minds, possess others, and create illusions so real they fool everyone around him. But what makes him truly dangerous is his ability to transform and become intangible, letting him slip through walls or evade attacks with ease. Deathstorm is not just a villain, he's an unstoppable force, using his terrifying abilities to control and manipulate everything in his path. Red Death. Finally, Ryan Wilder, known as Red Death, is one of the most intense villains in The Flash Season 9. Originally from Earth 4125, she's a doppelganger of Ryan Wilder, the character we know as Batwoman. Instead of being a hero, Ryan becomes a villain after her frustration with criminals, and Barry Allen, also known as The Flash, takes a dark turn. After the multiverse was reorganized and powerful enemies like the Anti-Monitor and Eobard Thawne were defeated, the Red Death was stuck on Earth Prime. She went to Central City, determined to continue her battle against the Flash. Regarding her strengths, Red Death has incredible powers, primarily drawn from an artificial connection to the Speed Force. which gives her abilities similar to Reverse Flash. She can move at lightning speed, nearly matching Barry Allen himself. This super speed allows her to race at impossible speeds, making her an almost unstoppable force. Her body can handle the stress of moving at such high speeds, meaning she doesn't tire out like a normal person. On top of that, she has superhuman agility, which helps her make sharp turns and changes of direction, even in the middle of a chase. In The Last, one of Red Death's most dangerous powers is electrokinesis. She can generate powerful red lightning from her body, which she uses to attack her enemies. She can absorb speed from other speedsters, making her even more formidable. With her connection to the artificial Speed Force, she's also firm, durable, and able to heal faster than most. As if all that weren't enough, she's a skilled hand-to-hand combatant, having fought crime for over a decade in Gotham City. Red Death is a villain with nearly every tool needed to take down the Flash and anyone in her way. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more exciting content. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching.